welcome to another episode of a View from the Corner with me, Steve Dakin. It gives me great pleasure today to welcome to the interview Any Greatorex. Welcome,
Hello.
Val. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. And I'm hot and sweaty today because off camera, I'll let you to a little secret. Amy makes me hot and sweaty, purely because, right, I had the pleasure of getting in the ring and padding her before we started the focus pads in the ring today. And I'll tell you, I'm glad I was padding you and not sparring you, because you can't half dig, woman. You can dig. So good. Brilliant. Okay, let's give you a little bit of a title then. I'm with Chesterfield's first and only female professional boxer. Is that right?
That is right, yeah.
Is that still true? How does that make you feel then?
Proud, very proud, yeah.
I should imagine it do. And I think there's been quite a few of the male species before, aren't they? But Chesterfield, because Chesterfield, naturally, I know from the amateurs that Chesterfield has got a great sprinkling of ladies coming through in the amateurs, and some really good ones, some box cup winners and some elites. So maybe not in your generation, but they are coming, aren't they? But that's a great accolade, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first female boxer from Chesterfield. I'm going to start by saying, though, congratulations on your recent win. Yeah, it's only, it was last month, weren't it? But it's only a few weeks ago, and it was in this very ring behind us.
Yeah.
It was a fabulous win that got you back to winning ways. And I personally, you know, I was supporting all the home fighters, but I was so pleased that you won. And I, you know, I want to bring this out in the interview, how hard you train and what that might possibly mean to you, because I was thrilled. I was emceeing that night, weren't I?
Yeah.
I was in the ring, master of ceremonies in my monkey suit, and for the I did the sort of pause, didn't I? But, you know, and I tortured you a little bit, but you were a clear winner that night. It gave me great pleasure, as it did all the team. There's no doubt about it. We were all bursting with joy that night. Yeah. So thanks for that. That were an experience. Brilliant. Okay, you've got, well, let's have a look at your record, your fight record. 14 contests in just over a 3.5 year period, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Amy, it's fair to say that your record is not a true representation of your talent. Yeah. I've watched you box over years. I've seen you in the gym over years. I've seen you spar, and you do some remarkable stuff. Your style is quite unique. You fire from the hips. You're like a gunslinger, aren't you? You know, you mean that's what you are. And we might have to call you Amy the Gunslinger Greatorex from now on.
That's a really good name.
Well, should we have that? Should we have that for next time? You are. So I just want to dig a little bit. What do you think? How can I put this? Why do you think your record's not a true representation of your talent, really? You've been on the end of some harsh results. Why do you think that is?
I do believe it is being in the away corner. There is a bit of a bias. As much as you don't want to think there is, being an away fighter, there is that bias. And there has been fights where I've clearly lost that fight.
Yeah.
But there's also been ones where I know I should have won. And I'm not one of those people that thinks, yeah, I've won them all. I know when I've lost, I know when I've won, but I've not been given the decision, and it is, I think, purely because I'm the away fighter. I've not sold the tickets. They don't want to get a disgruntled crowd, you know. So there's been a couple that have been obviously that as well, but annoyingly, there's no footage of those ones.
No, and you know what you said, that resonates with me, because times many when I've been speaking to boxers, professional boxers, I've had a very similar story. And if that's true, I have no reason to disbelieve you. You know, that's not good, is it? You know, that's not good. Maybe we need to shake things up a little bit there. Do you think starting your pro career, let's call it a mature age, were you about 36-ish when you started your career?
Something like that, yeah. 36, 37.
Do you think maybe at that age, to some, you may have sown the seed that, oh, she's not going to be any good at that age, and prejudged you, you know, we've already determined the result before you start.
Oh, yeah. I had, even before I turned professional with Riley's, I'd put out the status, does anyone want a female boxer? I may not be the best, but I work hard because something happened with my previous club. And I had someone inbox me, and they're a professional coach. And he said to me, I think you're a bit too old to go professional, but we can get you on the other scenes. I'm like, that's not what I want to do. I'd rather stay amateur if that's the case. So he was going to want to take me on the unlicensed route, which I don't agree with at all. And that's when Gary messaged me and said about me going professional. And to be fair, I even said to him, I think I'm too old. And he went, no, you're not at all. We'll try you. And obviously I did get to become professional. I got my license, although it was with a bit of a unsteady start. But I do think that people see my age and think, yeah, she's past it.
Yeah.
She's got no energy. She's not going to be fit. She's not going to be strong. She's coming to boxing late. She's going to be rubbish, basically.
I do think you might have a point. I think people couldn't like I've got this preconceived idea that age is a barrier. You know, and 36, as you were then, it's not old really. It's not, is it? It depends what your background is. You know, what knocks you've took and what your lifestyle's been. Prior to that, when you mentioned Gary, we're talking about Gary Longmore here, aren't we? Who's your current trainer? Out of Riley's in Sheffield. Fantastic. You alluded that you might not be the best boxer. I'm not I'm not going to argue with that. We have to remain humble, don't we? At times, but you do say you work hard, and I'm testament to that. I see how hard you actually work like a demon, and I'm not blowing smoke anywhere, but I honestly think you're probably the hardest working female that I know of at the moment. I go for a run in the morning, and I'll go for a run at 4 o'clock in the morning. I think it's a mental illness for me, but I still go out and run, and I'll come back and I'll start looking at my socials, Instagram. You beat me by about half an hour. You're on the treadmill running, and then you're off to work, and then you're in again. You do work like a demon. Okay, absolute credit to you there. However, let's think about your fitness. Let's think about the preconceived ideas of turning over late and what people might think of you. And let's go back to the fitness and how you look at the moment, because you look fantastic. You do look fantastic. But that's not always been the case, has it?
Nope.
You know, and I'm trying to be kind here. You were a larger than life character, weren't you, at one stage in your life, where fitness, boxing never entered into you, and you did expand somewhat. Tell us about that. Tell us about that period in your life, and maybe the transformation. We look at mirror one day, it happens, doesn't it? Or tell us the story.
So I was always a bigger kid. I always joke about it on social media, saying like my alter ego was Fat Amy, as in like the film character. And it was a case of I'd always grown up bigger, and then I ballooned basically in my early 20s to mid 20s. Wasn't fit, wasn't interested in sport. Obviously I was interested in sport on the telly watching it, but I never thought that I'd be able to compete or do any sport. Although weirdly, even when I was bigger, I was quite fast at running,
Really?
which is strange. When I had to. I didn't want to, but when I had to. And then it got to, I think I was about 26 or 27. And I was talking to a nurse. And usually when you go and talk to a nurse and they say to you, you've got to lose weight, they're a larger lady. And so you look at them and think, yeah, shut up. But this one wasn't, and it actually made me think about it and think, actually, I need to start improving my health. And that's where it kind of happened. And I lost 3 stone in 3 months, eating better. And at that point, I'd never set foot in a gym. I was just doing it eating-wise. And then when I lost some of that weight, I went to the gym, started a kickboxing class for fitness. And that was with a PT that I'd started up with. And he said to me, if you don't sign yourself up for a white collar, I'm going to do it for you.
Right.
And that's where it started. I always loved boxing, watching it on telly, but I never thought I could do it. Signed up for this white collar, went through the whole training thinking, what have I set myself up for here? Got into the ring, loved it, and that's basically where it all started. My love for getting punched in the face and obviously losing the weight. At that point, I'd lost about 4 stone at that point, I think. I used to be a size 18 to 20. At that point, I was a size 10 to 12. And then obviously starting amateur and then professional, I've lost even more weight through that.
That's absolutely remarkable. Well, big on socials. I go for a run, I come in, and you usually first that pops up. Do they call it a thread? I don't know. Is that what they call it? I'm the wrong age, I'm wrong generation, but I'm learning. Right, I'm learning. So I'd just like to touch on socials a little bit. And I read, if you don't mind, I read an article by Bob Westerdale. Yeah, it was for those who don't know, he was a local journalist and writes some good stuff. Got a good relationship with Bob. He's looked after us over the years, and I'd like to keep that. But he wrote, I saw an article that basically, and I've got to get the terminology right now, people were writing or commenting on their socials, against your socials, they're writing derogatory things. Is it called trolling? Is that what I'm not sure if it's called that. Is that what it's called? I'm getting nods from our producer over there. Tell us about that, because there's been more than one occasion, haven't they? There's been, I think last week I saw that there was some sort of fake profile. Somebody were asking you, telling they got cancer, and then somebody would, so just tell us about that, what actually happened, and how you handled it, how it affected you.
I get quite a bit, all different types of things. Like you get the odd ones of people commenting on things, like I've had someone say, get back in the kitchen, that kind of thing. But then I do get quite a few inboxes or comments on posts asking for my pants, basically. I did have one person, they got in touch with me saying they wanted to sponsor me, and they seemed really serious. And I said to him, I'm not interested in selling my pants. That's not how I want to get sponsorships and things. And he seemed dead against it. Then as soon as I gave him my WhatsApp number and he started messaging me, he started being quite derogatory about that and saying, I bet you do though, don't you, Amy, you naughty girl, which is dead against what I'm about. I want my boxing to speak to everyone, not the fact that I'm going and selling my pants to someone. And then I had someone again the other day. I think it was on Instagram. He'd messaged me saying he wanted to sponsor me, and I sent him the message saying, "Have you got a business? I've had quite a few strange people messaging me, asking very strange things. So I'm sure you can understand how worried I am about that. And I'm not going to just give out my WhatsApp number." And then he says, "Well, I'm not like that. I haven't got a business. I just want to sponsor you and help you with things. But here's my WhatsApp number." Right. Now, to me, that's a red flag. That's, that's what a strange person would say, isn't it? Yeah. And then, because I'd not replied to him, he was being very pushy. "Are we going to talk then?" "No, I've already said I'm not giving you my WhatsApp." So then my friend looked up his thread, because his Instagram and then there's one called Threads, looked at his thread, and he'd been commenting on lots and lots of different female fighters, saying that he was dying of cancer and that's his final wish, to spar with a woman, which I find is very, very odd. And then someone that I used to box with in the East Midlands squad, she told me that he'd got in touch with her and he'd actually sent her photos that were meant to be of him, and it was an AI picture of him in boxing gloves and shorts, quite clearly not unwell, but you could see it was AI.
Yep.
But all these things where people are messaging me asking me for my pants, or being derogatory, or saying get back in the kitchen, it's so frustrating, because we've come so far forward in female boxing, but then that takes us 10 steps back again. And yes, I'm a jokey, nice person, but I'm also serious when it comes to my boxing. hats off to everyone that wants to do, you know, the other websites, sell the things, whatever. That's great business for them, but that's not what I'm about. And I quite clearly state that on all my social media, but people still message me. They don't message me about my boxing. That's what they message me about. And it does actually get you down, and it's disheartening that that's what people know you for, kind of thing. That's what they want to talk to you about, where, you know, I'm a professional boxer and I may not have an amazing record, but I still put the work in. So why are they not talking to me about that?
Of course you do. It's boxing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've already said during this interview that you yourself, your record's not that brilliant on paper. It's not, and we've talked about the harsh decisions you've had. So, what did that win mean to you that night?
The world, basically. I mean, if you look at the photos from the announcer when they announced it, I think you could see it on my face. Like, I actually even stood in the middle of the ring. I knew I'd done enough to win, but I still thought, oh, there's a chance here that they're not going to give it to me, because that's what I'm used to. So I think it was just relief, excitement, amazement, like all the emotions in one there. I was still buzzing. Well, I'm still buzzing now, to be fair, over it. So that just shows how much it means.
And I get that. I get that you are still buzzing, and that was one of the reasons that I'm really anxious to get you on. Why it's fresh? Why are you still buzzing? And again, I look at your socials, and why not live it, right? Because you absolutely deserve it. You've spent much of your boxing career boxing out of the away corner. You've been travelling up and down the motorways, the length and breadth of the country, and as we said, sometimes getting the harsh decision. So, what was the experience like actually boxing out of the home corner? Yeah. How did that feel for you as a boxer?
Again, amazing.
Yeah.
It almost didn't feel real. I think as well, it was a strange one, because obviously where you have the event is next door to the gym where I train all the time. And it being a home show, it's just, I'm not used to it. The last home show I did was my debut back in 2022, which was at Barnes Metrodome.
Barnsley Metrodome, where?
I've done that many now, I can't remember where I've done them.
It was Barnsley Metrodome.
So to do it here, it was amazing. And with everyone here watching, and to do it with the team of other boxers from Riley's as well was amazing. Because obviously before, when I did my debut, all the other boxers were from different gyms, different areas. So it was nice to be able to do the home show with, say, Bianca and all the rest of them, and get that win as well on that show. So very proud moment.
Brilliant.
Very, very proud moment.
So we are actually sat in the old forge, and it is adjacent to Riley's boxing gym where you train. The old forge is owned by the collective, which is RL Promotions, headed by Gary Longmore, Rob Riley, and Jen Lee. So this is basically home to you now.
Yeah.
This is your home ring. So going forward, does that motivate you? Does that give you a little bit more advantage?
I think so, yeah. Especially now I've got a really supportive sponsor that he's helping push me as well. And, you know, for the last show, if I couldn't sell enough tickets, then he was helping with that as well. So he believes in me. That makes a massive difference. Like, all you guys believe in me. And having the show here, somewhere that you can call home, it's just, it means so much more. So it does motivate you more. You want to put the effort in, you want to sell tickets more, you want to be able to be on those shows, partly as well because I have the fear of missing out. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to stand it. I'm not on the next show because I've got other things already in the pipeline, and I'm gutted about that.
Yeah, I should imagine you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're here now, so there'll be more opportunities. You mentioned your sponsor I think that, it'd be. I think we ought to mention it. Who's your sponsor? Let's have a blatant plug for your sponsor.
It's Swirl Stopper Detailing from Chesterfield. Swirl Stopper Detailing. It's a car detailing company.
Oh, right, excellent. Thank you, brilliant. Okay, are you always on the lookout for more sponsors?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Because it's a difficult game, this, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is a difficult game. So let's sell you a little bit here, okay? They know what they're getting. They're getting a supreme athlete, and they're getting a boxer that's got on a winning streak at the moment, no doubt, a determined boxer that's got a lot more to give. So what do they get out of it?
Well, I'm always on my social media, aren't I? So they're always getting advertising. Sponsorship for a business is, with boxing, because it's such a big thing at the moment, they're getting that positive interaction with people, having their name alongside it. Obviously, it's tax deductible as well. So, you get that as well. It's just a massive positive advertising. My sponsor comes and watches sparring, he comes, watches training. If that's what someone wants to do, then they can come and do that and be involved in my career. They don't have to just sit on the sidelines and just give money. I like them to be involved.
So you heard it here, okay? If you've got long pockets, or you've got a business out there, or if you'd like to sponsor Amy the Gunslinger Greatorex with a motor car, you know where to contact us. That's fantastic. Okay, joking apart, clearly she'll accept a motor car. There's no joke about that. However, sponsorship is a real serious business for boxers. I want to go a little bit further with this. In fact, I just want to pass it straight over to you. I want us to talk about, Amy, now, sponsorship, why it's important to you, what the expenses are as a professional boxer. Because we get our armchair viewers watching professional boxing, and they'll watch boxing from the Grand in Vegas or wherever, and then we get the lower end of stuff that watch amateur boxing, which is totally different. You've got a massive expenses to pay out, so I'd like to first of all talk about that. But for our viewers, I think a little bit of education here wouldn't go amiss. I want you to talk about tickets and what's expected of you as a professional home fighter to sell tickets. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So with the sponsorship side, obviously we have our expenses. We've got all our medicals, our license fees, which is quite a lot. And obviously, if you can't afford that yourself, where's the money coming from? I'm self-employed myself, so if I don't work, I don't earn, and I take a lot of time out of work to train. I'm also a carer for my dad, so that's hours out of work for me as well. So I'm doing quite a few things as well as the boxing. So I've got the medicals and things, and then there's a side of, your nutrition, your supplements, training, fuel to get to training. It all adds up. Like, you think a weekly shop for an average person is expensive, but then you add in like the food that us as boxers need, because it's not just food to us, it's fuel. So we need to fuel correctly. Steaks cost a lot of money. So that's one side of it. And like I said, the supplementation, making sure that we've got enough vitamins and everything else, because you're training hard, you're going to get depleted, so you need all that. There's obviously your training kit, gloves, that I can get through so many pairs of gloves in a year because the padding does get squashed in them, it gets ruined, so you've got to look after your hands. If you're sparring, you've got to look after the person you're sparring. You don't want to have gloves that are worn. Obviously your head guard, your groin guard, your gum shields, your clothes that you wear for training. Then there's your fight kit, which is very expensive. Boxing boots, all sorts. That's just like the bog standard lower side of it, without adding in everything else. And then we get to ticket sales as a home fighter. If you have to sell your tickets to be able to pay for your opponent. So if you don't sell enough tickets, then where's that money for the opponent coming from? You have to pay for it yourself, or the fight gets stopped. So me, myself, although I've got quite a large following on social media, in Chesterfield I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not that well known in Chesterfield itself. I think people are quite ignorant to boxing in Chesterfield, although we've got a good amateur stable of boxers there. People don't seem to know who's who. And I think that, again, is partly my age and how late into it I came into boxing. So people don't want to buy tickets, or people buy tickets, but they'll buy tickets to the big shows where people are paid a purse. Their opponents are paid for.
Yeah.
So, and that's what people think. Oh, it's all right. We're not going to get a ticket. They don't need to pay for the opponent because it's already paid for. That's not the case. And then you've got to think, for us as also a home fighter, our wage comes out of those tickets as well. And I know we choose to box, but we put however many weeks into training hard. And like I've said before, I'm self-employed. If I take time out of work, I lose money.
That's right.
So, I kind of need to gain something back. So if we're not selling enough tickets to even pay for our opponent, we're then not selling enough tickets to get anything out of it. And then also, you've got to think about everyone else that's involved. The event's got to be paid for. The people that work for the event's got to be paid for, which all comes out of ticket sales.
It is. It's far and wide, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's
there's
far
so
and
many
wide.
things.
There's a lot happening
Yeah.
behind the scenes, and it come to light a few weeks ago when I was talking to, just a couple of people that had stepped in the gym, and I mentioned ticket sales and how a professional boxer has to sell tickets to pay for their opponent. They had absolutely no idea. They thought the tickets that were bought on the door, and they thought it just happens, which is all right, isn't it? Because why shouldn't, unless you've been in the world of boxing, why not? And I think it's a point that we need to get over, because if there are any sponsors out there or anybody that can assist, then we need it at this level, 100%. Yeah.
That's the thing. Sponsorship doesn't have to just be giving me money to get me to training. It can be a ticket sales sponsor.
Yeah.
So they buy a table of tickets
Yep. Of course it
to
can.
ensure that I can pay for my opponent.
Yep.
And with the selling of tickets side, I saw one of the amateur coaches from Riley's comment that the amateur club needed some new scales. And someone commented on that saying, well, you just had a show, doesn't that pay for it? Not realising actually that's not what happens with the money that comes from it. You've got to pay for everything else first before they get anything from it. And I'm pretty sure they didn't actually receive anything from that, and probably made a loss from that first show because of that, and because of us having to pay out for opponents. So
over the years, I've been to many a boxing event in the big arenas. The Sheffield Arena, for whatever it's called these days. I don't know, sponsor Sheffield Arena these days. The Cannon, and they're not always full. And quite often they're giving tickets away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a previous boxing club I used to run, whenever there was a show on, the promoter always came and gave us a wad of tickets to make the numbers up, to get the seating, because it don't look good when you've got a TV show when there's empty seats. So it is a very, very tough game, isn't it? Yeah, from the boxer's point of view, from the promoter's point of view, yeah, it's very, very tough. Fancy an ice cream?
Do we want?
I just want to touch on women's boxing, the last couple of interviews I've done, I did with Flo from Huddersfield, and more recently with RL's new signing, Kerry Orton, and we talked a little bit about women's boxing and ladies boxing. Women's boxing's changed over the years. And off camera, we had a discussion about what it used to look like and where it all started. And although there were some good boxers back then, I don't think they're the caliber of the ladies boxing today. So boxing has evolved massively over the years and in the last decade. So, but from your perspective, what opportunities are out there for women currently in the boxing world?
I think there's more and more coming up, because when I first became professional, there there was a very small pool of women. So, you know, for me, as when I was, you know, became an away fighter, that was a great opportunity for me because it meant that I was out quite often. Now the pool's getting bigger and bigger, so those opportunities are getting bigger for bigger fights, but then it's getting smaller opportunities for away fighters because there's more to choose from. But I do think it's great. More and more women are getting into professional boxing. I think it'll mean that it becomes more competitive because, you know, there's more females to be fighting for the titles. So you can't just be chucking someone in after a couple of fights, can you, at that point? So there will come a point where it's not as easy to get a title fight, but those title fights will mean more because they've got to have worked for it.
Lots of positivity there with regards to ladies boxing. What would you like to see change, if anything?
I'm not really sure. People keep going on about 3-minute rounds, but I don't agree with that. We can do them.
Yeah, you can
Most
do them.
definitely
Yeah,
we can. We're
yeah.
fit, we're strong, we can do them. But I think 2 minutes is exciting. If it was changed to 3 minutes, it means that it wouldn't be as fast paced. People would take the time more. Whereas at this moment, 2 minutes means you've got to get in and get working. So I don't think that should be changed. I think maybe the away thing, you know, more fairness on both sides, but that's in all boxing.
It is.
It
is.
So yeah.
So the difficult times, because there's difficult times in boxing, training, getting up, training camps, you know, fallouts, because we all have fallouts, you know, you as close as you are with your coach, you know, you do bond and you do fall out, don't you? So what gets you through the difficult times? What you know, what gets you up in the morning? What motivates you? What gets you through the difficult times in boxing?
I think mine is, I box for myself, I love to box, but I also, although it is a very lonely sport, because like I said, you're doing it yourself, aren't you? I don't want to disappoint my team, my coaches. So I make sure that I put the effort in to be as best as I can be because I want to do it for them, basically. So on those days where I feel like I really don't want to do it, I get out of bed and I do it because I'd be disappointing them at the end of the day. I know they'd say they wouldn't be disappointed, but that's how I feel I'd be doing it.
That's fine.
And also sticking 2 fingers up at all those people that didn't believe in me.
That's right. That's right. Well, we could go back to the picture, can't we? That was on social media, weren't you? From some time ago. Fantastic. When people talk about you, talk about Any Greatorex, what do you think they say about you as a boxer?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
What would you like them to say about you as a boxer?
I'd like them to say that she's good at what she does and she puts the effort in. She's determined, she's strong in character and physical ability, and I'm nice. I know that sounds ridiculous about a boxer.
You are all those things. You're having known you now for a while. You are all those things. So I think that is, you know, I can't see why anybody that knows you wouldn't say those things about you. So let's go. Let's go to an ultimate coaching question. We're going to take the roof off this building, and we're going to look from the outside in. And sat at the side of the ring now, it's not me, but it's you previously, and it's you now. So, what advice would you give to the old Amy that was just about to turn pro?
I would probably say, believe in yourself more. Don't listen to the haters, because at the start I did. I listened to them and thought I was rubbish. I came in here, the first few times I came to train with Gary and Rob, and I'd still got in my head people telling me my jab shit, so I didn't use it because I got told my jab was shit. So just believe in yourself and know you can do it. Put everything into what you're doing. Trust in the process, basically.
fantastic, really good. You mentioned your jab. That and having just padded you for a number of rounds, you've got a splendid jab. And if we look back on your fight of a few weeks ago, that was a major tool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was on a social media. You actually talk about your jab, and it was refreshing. I really liked it because we teach, we teach amateur boxing and we teach professional boxing, but we teach you from the ground up, grassroots level, and you've got somebody in the gym that's never boxed before. You teach them how to stand, talk about the foundation, and the first shot they're going to throw after they've got the stand is the jab. And we talk about what the jab's all about. It's a range finder. You can use it to set a shot up. It can be a spiteful shot. It's like the multi-tool in your toolbox, and you use it very well indeed. I mean, over the years, Larry Holmes, renowned for his jab, Lennox Lewis, renowned for his jab. Muhammad Ali, renowned for his jab. Any Greatorex, renowned for her jab. It's a fantastic tool in your toolbox. So, for people to say that, it's just ignorant and it's jealousy. No doubt about that, 100%. So onwards and upwards, we're into winning ways. Those winning ways are going to continue, no doubt about it. What's the future look like for Amy? Yeah, where we're going in the next year, boxing related. Any thoughts, any plans?
I'd like to just get as much in as I can. I want to do some more home shows. I did say previously that the last one was probably going to be the only one due to people not buying tickets, but my sponsor again has said it's him that's pushing me really, because he knows that I want to do it, and said, no, I'm in this for the long run. We're getting you some more home shows, which would be amazing. And I also thought that this would be my last year boxing because of my age.
Yep.
But then my opponent was older than me, so that spurred me on a bit, thinking actually I might be able to get a few more years out of it. So hopefully just continue, get stronger. I'm still improving all the time, and while that's happening, I see no reason to stop. So
brilliant. So life after boxing, looking ahead, life after boxing. Do you see yourself coming into the boxing world as a coach?
I'd like to, yeah, because I think although women's boxing is getting bigger, there's still not enough women in the coaching side to teach all that needs to be known about women. Because at the end of the day, should I say, yes, there's not masses of differences really, and we're all human, men and women, aren't we? But there are very different biological things with the women that isn't understood as much at the moment.
Oh, I agree.
Like with making weight and things like that, healthily. So I'd like to help on that side, so the younger generations don't make the same mistakes as what I have in the past, and make sure that they can be as healthy as they can be, as strong and fit as they can be. So yeah, I'd like to coach.
Yeah, I think you make a really good coach, and you can come on board with us, no doubt about it. Okay, final word then. Stereotypical interview question. This: who's your most inspirational boxer, past or previous, dead or alive, even?
Oh, inspirational. Oh, I don't know. I've got to say, probably women, Katie Taylor.
Yep.
Just because she's kind of paved the way. I do love Christy Martin as well. The whole her story amazes me.
It is an amazing story. It is indeed.
Jane Couch.
Yep. Well, she was the forerunner, weren't she, for the UK?
Yep, definitely.
With a different era.
Different
but
era.
definitely without Jane Couch, there'd have been no Any Greatorex.
Exactly. I think just in general, Lomachenko and Usyk, because I just think their training and their footwork, I love it.
Yeah, ditto. Thank you ever so much for joining us today here in the Old Forge. This has been A View from the Corner with Amy, the now established gunslinger Greatorex, and me, Steve Dakin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.